This
shown, and the
conference
same
will now
document
be
will forward.
recorded.
Clear?
Yes.
Right. So SDLC today we are talking about, which we call it as software development lifecycle.
Okay.
This is what SDLC is, software development lifecycle.
Yes.
Why is this required for BA? This is the first question, right? Why is this
Yes.
required for
BA.
being a business analyst?
Mm-hmm.
We are responsible for the project development. Okay, so
Yes.
whatever the work that the technical people do and all that, that is responsible by the BA, because BA acts as a facilitator between the business and technical communities. So
Yes.
whatever the technical business community has given the information, that must be transferred to the technical people, and make sure
Okay.
the technical people has developed the right thing. This is what we have to do under this. So we are responsible, or we must be responsible for the project development. Okay, being
Mm-hmm.
a BA, we are responsible for the project development. Not only that, we must know the process of project development. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
process of project development. This is what we call it as हम बोलते SDLC. Okay,
Yes.
it is something similar like PDLC, because whatever the product are we developing. Let's say, for example, we are manufacturing a soap. To manufacture a soap, there is a process wherein we need to acquire some raw material, semi-finished good, finished good, labeling, packaging, right? Sales, right? This is what the structure. In the same manner, even we are developing a project, there is a process wherein people follow. This is irrespective of the domain and the technology. Okay, whatever
Mm-hmm.
the technology we are domining or whatever the domain are we using and all, it is nothing to have any connection with SDLC, because SDLC process is common. So there are some stages in SDLC which, being a business analyst, you must be knowing. Even though you are not developing the project and all, being a business analyst, you must have this idea.
Mm-hmm.
These SDLC are, first we call it as analysis.
Design and
Second, we call it as design,
implementation,
implementation.
testing. Management. Okay.
These are the different stages under SDLC, right?
Yes. Yes.
These are the stages of SDLC.
Yes.
Every project must come across these things. No violation. Whenever we got a project from the customer, right, through bidding, आपको
Yes.
बोल दिया ना, process चलते. Once you got a project and all, usually we have to sign a document, service level agreement document, बोल के
Yes.
SLA document sign करना है.
Mm-hmm.
बाद में we need to do analysis. What is analysis is here, whatever
Basically. Okay.
the initial stakeholder मतलब client, okay,
Uh-huh.
and stakeholder is the word we don't use only for the client. Whoever involves in the project will be called as stakeholders bolte. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
don't confuse. must be analyzed here. Why should we analyze? We must know whether stakeholder has given based on their need or not. Because what happened, why is this analysis is needed is, let's say that, for example, you are the customer.
Mm-hmm.
The kind of business problem you're facing could be something than the what you have explained me. There might be some difference, right? Because you may not
Mm-hmm.
be good in explaining what exactly wants from you, right? There is a
Mm-hmm.
chance, because you
Yes.
cannot expect customers are communicative as you are, as we are,
Mm-hmm.
right? So
Yes.
whatever their need or interest and what they explains may have some change or may have some difference.
Yeah.
If you are not identifying that, what happened, even though you have completed the project, it is considered as failure because you are not meeting the right needs of the customer. So analyzing whether whatever the information given by the customer was right or not, this is what we call Humboldt analysis.
Mm-hmm.
Understand? Clear?
Yes.
And moreover, if you want to do this analysis and all, make sure you need to consider 3 points. One is we must have a clarity on 3 points. One is objective,
Mm-hmm.
need, and scope.
Scope.
These three are needed. Okay?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Because I'll tell you a simple point.
Mm-hmm.
The importance आपको बोल देता है.
Yes.
We started somewhere, and whatever the solution we have given is something.
Mm-hmm.
It will be sidelined if you are not putting some objectives and aims. What happens? The project will be leads to deviation, and it leads to somewhere, right or not?
Yes.
Hence, objectives are important. Identifying the objectives means aims and objectives. What we are planning to achieve comes under objective. Understand?
Yes.
Next, we call it as need. Need matlab necessity. Why customer is approaching us? Because there is some need. Customer is expecting, hence he is coming to us. This is what we call it as need.
Right.
Followed by need, next is about scope. Scope matlab possibility of developing, means what are the constraints or what are the environmental factors, impacts
Yes.
to provide solution. This is what Humboldt is scope.
Yes.
Irrespective of the domain or irrespective of the technology or irrespective of the project or irrespective of the client, being a business analyst or the team of BA or the project development team doesn't have any clarification on these 3 points, the project leads to failure.
Mm-hmm.
Right? We should have a clarity on these three for sure. All
Mm-hmm.
this happens in analysis. Okay.
Okay.
Whatever we have analyzed, here the design of the project will be done. It means architecture of the project. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
project architecture will be done here. Okay, architecture of the project will be done here. Means
Mm-hmm.
how the project looks like, what will be the architecture here, how the project model looks like, and all that. It is something similar. Design is important
Okay.
for any of the project. It is something similar, like for example, you are constructing a building.
Yes.
You bought land, you have taken land, you have sufficient financial resources, you have expertise managing staff. Okay,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
among all that, among all that,
Yes.
if you want to get a permission,
Mm-hmm.
if you want to get a లేరండి ఊరు వెళ్ళారు నైట్ వస్తారు
పాప ఉందండి మీ అమ్మాయి రేపు సాయంత్రం మా అక్షరాలు బర్త్డే 6:30కి
ఓకే 1 minute Abhinash.
Sure.
Yeah, so design is required. So for example, we have sufficient manpower, everything is there. We want to get a permission from the government authorities to construct it. So what is required? What is needed? Blueprint of the project is needed. Am I right or not?
Yes. And one question, like as a BA, like there is a never a chance like a BA design for the project. It's always architecture, right?
Yes. See, architecture of the project will be designed by architects. There are solution architects who takes care of that, not by the.
Okay. Got it.
But being a functional expert, being a functional knowledgeable person,
Yeah.
business analyst will also be a part of the design phase. It's not the part of architecture phase, it's a part of design phase. Understand?
Yes.
So as the example I have shown, given you now, told you now, if you don't have any blueprint of the construction building construction thing, what will happen? You cannot get permissions. You don't get permissions. Point number one.
Yes.
Second, if you don't have a proper structure of the building layout plan, whoever the measuring staff we have doesn't have any value, because what is the size of the flat you're constructing, right? How much is the inside space and all that things must be on a piece of paper that will be done by the architects, and
Yes.
scheduled and fine authorized architects will be there who finalize that, right? That people will give you.
Yes.
Based on that, you are investing money or you are constructing the building. In the same and similar manner, assume that your developers are the measuring staff, your civil architect, nothing but here the project architect. Okay, he has to give the architecture for the project based on the analysis we have made. Okay,
Yes.
next is implementation. Here, project will be developed. I mean, coding will be written here. Okay, whatever the project are we writing and all, developing and all, the coding will be
Okay.
written here. Not only the implementation part, next is testing. Here, whatever we developed, that will be tested by the
Yes.
testing people, whether done the right thing or not. Deployment. Here, we deploy the project at the client environment, because client doesn't know whether is this right or not, right? So we have to show this project, deploy this project at the client location, and we have to show him this is what the project, this is what the expectation of yours, which we have
Yes.
satisfied. That we have to show practically. So then only confirm a client will satisfy, right? Here we have to deploy the project.
Okay.
Next, delivery. Here we deliver project to the client. Next, here we do support for end users and any troubleshooting, right? Any troubleshooting of the project, right? If they have any kind of challenges they are facing and all while using up project support, right? They're finding any difficulty, so that troubleshooting and all will be taken care of by the support team. It's a 24/7 job. There is a separate support team who takes care of that. These are the different stages which are there in SDLC. Being a business analyst, you must be aware. Clear, Ramesh?
Yes.
Now, you may ask me one thing. Am I going to involve in all the phases? Yes.
Yes.
Being a business analyst, right from analysis to maintenance, it's your responsibility. You will be involved, but major responsibility of yours will be on these phases. Maintenance, आपका job नहीं था maintenance पे, right? Because it's
Mm-hmm.
not your job. But analysis and design, both these two are the major phases where your role is more important, because to understand the requirements and making people to understand the requirements is your responsibility. Once you have given, and how and what way they developed and all, it's the team of technical people will take care of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Understood?
Yes.
That will be taken care of by the technical people. And whatever they have developed, that must be tested. That for that we
But
have testing professionals, they will take care of that. But for deployment, you must be there. For
okay.
the deployment, you must be there. Why? We have to deploy at the client location, and we have to make sure that client must satisfy this. This is what deployment bolte hum. At the
Okay.
time, you must be not only of deployment, in the delivery phase of the project, you must be there.
Okay.
Means when we want to deliver the project here, we have to prepare some project documentation and all. Okay, project documentation and all, everything must be prepared by us.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a user manual. When you're buying a mobile, you are getting a user manual. Why? It doesn't mean that you don't know how to operate mobile. It's a standard
Mm-hmm.
procedure where we are following it.
Okay.
Right or not?
Yes.
How to use the mobile, that user manual will be given. Of course, this user manual, like that, project documentation will not be prepared by BA, because
Mm-hmm.
there are some technical writers who takes care of the project documentation and all. Being a business analyst, you have to support them.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes.
Followed by delivery. Next is about maintenance. Here your job is very normal.
Okay.
So these are the stages which are there in SDLC, which I am just showing you in presentation, because just showing a presentation doesn't have an effectiveness. Hence I've opened a Word document and I've given the information to you. Hope you understood, right?
Okay. Okay.
So this is what generally the SDLC stages are. Software development lifecycle stages. Any project will have these stages. Okay.
Okay.
Now there are SDLC models which must be known to you. Okay, SDLC models also should be aware to you. What is meant by an SDLC model? What was meant by that? SDLC model doesn't mean based on the requirement of the customer. One minute. Right. So based on the requirement of the customer, we choose different models to develop the application. Some people will give us the requirements all at a time and they'll have sufficient time. Some people gives us requirement but they don't have sufficient time. Assume that, for example, you said 6 months, they said in 3 months they want to complete. Like this, there are some varieties or variants are there which you have to understand. Clear, Abhinash? Abhinash, are you clear?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, it's clear.
Right. So SDLC models, there are multiple models under SDLC.
Mm-hmm.
Based on the need and the requirement of the project, we choose which model to be used. Okay.
Okay.
So there are different models under SDLC. First, we call it as waterfall model.
Okay.
I am naming few which are important and prominent. Next, we iterative, incremental, and agile methodology. So these are the different models which are there under SDLC. Clear?
Yes.
These are the models which are there under SDLC.
Okay.
What is important of waterfall and how it works, how it looks. These I will explain in tomorrow's session. Right?
Okay.
Right? How is this models will be used? In what way this models is being used here?
Okay.
Importance of waterfall model, importance of V model, when these models will be used and all, I'll explain you in tomorrow session.
Okay. And
Clear?
should I ask a question?
Go ahead.
So I have a one question here. Like, is there any difference, like when you work in actual IT companies like Microsoft, or maybe in a different industry, banking or healthcare, there is a like a role different, I mean difference in a BA role, or it's a pretty much same?
See, business analyst role everywhere is common, gathering of requirements and providing solution. Okay.
Okay.
Irrespective of the company you are belongs to. Let's say if you are working for Microsoft, or you're working for Infosys, or you're working for SAP, or you're working
Mm-hmm.
for Oracle, the
Yes.
responsibility of a business analyst is to provide the solution. That is same. That will not have any change. But the major
Yes.
change is which domain you are addressing, which technology the project is under development, what kind of customer you have, and how you are dealing, what challenges you facing, and all that will have the variation.
Mm-hmm. Got it.
Clear?
Okay, got it.
Understood?
Excuse me.
Okay. Right. We'll meet
Okay.
tomorrow and we discuss more further related. Okay.
Okay. Okay, sure. Thank you.
Right, Amish? Thank you.
Thank you.
Right.